Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rachelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, joined by my lovely wife, Miss Southern Shell. Shell, World Foods Week, you ready?
I'm getting that way.
Getting that way?
Yeah. Currently, no.
Currently, no. Just think, you could be going to World Foods this week and then to Jack Daniels the next week. What if you had to do that?
We'd make it work.
You'd make it work.
I like the Jack. That one's my favorite. The only problem with the Jack is the hotels are
they are. So this week, of course, we're going to talk about what we're doing for World Foods, or the categories and that. But we did Jack Daniel's sirloin for the recipe in honor of the Jack coming up. This time of year, I usually try to throw a Jack Daniel's recipe. I know I've done a few in the past. But we also,
in honor of the Jack, you did Jack Daniel's recipe.
Yeah, in honor of the Jack. It's my favorite contest.
Yeah.
Anybody ever ask me what's your favorite barbecue contest? I always say the Jack Daniel's World Invitational Championship. But you got somebody
at the front door.
That's good. They'll have to wait. Tell them we're recording. But the Jack is my favorite contest, so I pay a little homage to it with some recipes, usually using Jack Daniel's, which is a great whiskey. And this week we did a Jack Daniel's sirloin, or my take on one. Now, I didn't invent the Jack sirloin. Heck, I think probably TGI Fridays probably did it first. I don't know. I just wanted to do a steak with a Jack Daniel's sauce.
So what's a sirloin?
Sirloin, it's just a cut of beef. I mean, it comes off the
Is it more lean?
It comes off a little bit further back behind the ribeye on back a little bit. It's real lean, doesn't have a lot of fat to it. So it's a great choice if you're, a steak eater and you want to keep the fat content down. It's a lot of protein, and it's a good cut of meat as long as you don't overcook it. It's one of those, you see sirloins on every steakhouse menu usually. They usually have one. It's usually a lesser cut, but cooked right, it's really, really good. And so I just cooked it really hot and fast.
Well, you marinated it.
Well, marinated it. Yeah, you gotta get a little marinade going. And with this recipe, it's kind of, Asian flavors go together with it.
Yeah.
So I got soy sauce, and I got Worcestershire, and then I got ginger, and you got all these elements in there to give it some flavor in the marinade. It needs 3 or 4 hours in the marinade, get some flavors, and then just simple season it with salt, throw it on a hot grill, and it's all about that Jack Daniel's glaze that you cook down and put over it. And usually, when I'm doing Jack Daniel's, it's got like a little sweet element to it. So it's got some brown sugar, usually has some pineapple juice or something like that. I just like the way it goes with it. And then I cook it down, and it's got a little vinegar sauce usually to give it a little bit of acidity. And after that, it's really nothing to it. It's just cooking a little glaze down. You got to cook the whiskey off. You add the whiskey and then you cook it and reduce it. And so you're not getting blowed out by alcohol flavor. It doesn't have that at all, but it's got all those good notes. It brings those notes out, the caramelly notes, the spicy notes. You get a little bit of the wood flavor from the barrel. All that comes out in it. I love that. And it goes great with everything. It goes really good on a beef, on sirloin.
It does. And for a cut like sirloin that doesn't have the fat content, it gives it a lot of good flavor.
It does. It has a lot of good flavor. And really, I like dipping it in it as it cooks over it. It's not on a great glaze it at the very end. So it's not like it's sitting there cooking on it a long time, but it kind of gets that caramelness going more.
And it pops. It looks so shiny.
Yeah, it does. It looks good. The picture, it didn't do it justice. Camera.
Yeah.
The light, man, it's something about the light when I'm doing beef where it looks like, it's overcooked a little bit. It's really not, because when you get it inside and I see it, I'm like, wow, look how, this thing is right where I wanted it. And, it doesn't always come through on the video, but I guess it's just from the outdoor.
I think it looked fine. I think you hit that.
Well,
medium rare.
That's where I temp it and take it off right where I want
it. How far could you take the sirloin?
Man, I wouldn't want to go past, 130 would be way too. Anything past what I consider medium, I wouldn't worry about, because you got to think it's going to carry over some, so it's probably going to finish up about 135 if you take it that far. It's really better in that 122 to 125 range
to pull it off.
Yeah, and let it carry over to about 128, which should be perfect. Kind of medium rare all the way through, and then it just melts in your mouth, and you really taste the beef when it's like that.
So you just do a typical traditional steak cook. Go down 2 minutes, rotate 2 minutes, flip 2 minutes.
Start watching it.
Glaze.
It's about 2 more minutes. I mean, just, that was a pretty thick sirloin.
Yeah, that was
and it was enough for 2 people. It wasn't like one person's not going to eat that whole steak. It was 1.5 pounds. And so me and you both ate it.
Yeah.
And it was,
and we had leftovers.
Yeah, we still had leftovers. So I didn't do any sides to go with it there, did I?
Yeah, we did a smoked baked potato.
Oh, man. I forgot all about that. Can we cut that?
No.
Oh. I don't want to mess that up. Yeah, we're going to have to cut that.
Okay, fine. And you also served a smoked baked potato.
Yeah, you got to have a side with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was, hey, I've never done baked potatoes on a video on the smoker, but they cook just as good as in the oven. You just put them on there, set it, what I go with, like 325 and let it roll. I mean, it took about 2 hours for a baked potato. I see what made those so good. You brush the outside with a little olive oil, a little kosher salt, black pepper, a little bit of parsley. That's it. Put them on there and just let them go till you can stick a knife or a skewer in them, and it goes in pretty easy. It's soft. Mm-hmm. And then if you want to, like I was holding them, so I wrapped them up in foil at the end, just kind of that steakhouse look.
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
But you can wrap them in that foil and hold them for
30 baked potatoes? Yeah, easy. Probably longer than that. Yeah. They stay warm a long time. And then you got to load them out. You got to have the butter, the sour cream, the bacon, the cheese, a little green onion. Man, and that's a baked potato and a steak dinner to me. I did 2 potatoes and I did the 1 steak, and that's a great, like if you're doing a meal for 2, mm-hmm. that's it. It doesn't get any easier than that. The longest part of that one is probably, I guess marinating and cooking the potatoes, but it's really easy.
Yeah.
You could cheat on potatoes, but throw them on the grill, man, if you ain't never tried them.
So
I just did that because I got some potato ideas. I was like, yeah, we're going to do these potatoes out here.
You marinated that jack sirloin for what, about 4 hours, something like that?
3 or 4 you need. It'd probably been fine overnight in the refrigerator.
Do you not think it would have started?
No, I don't think it would. I mean, not on a sirloin. Sirloin's dense enough. I mean, I probably wouldn't want to marinate a filet or ribeye that long, but a sirloin can take it no problem.
So overnight
would have been fine. Yeah.
It was really good.
Really. Yeah. It's really good. It was an easy recipe. It's all in that glaze, putting that glaze together, and you could use that glaze on all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah.
It don't have to just go on that. You could use it on chicken wings. You could use it on pork chops. In fact, I've all this, if you go back and look at some of the stuff I've done, it's similar.
Yeah. You can type whiskey
on the website.
And
So we thought we would try something new here today, Shell, at How to Barbecue Right. This is the first time we've actually had a caller call in, and it's not going to be on the video part, but we hadn't figured that out. But since we're staying kind of on the Jack Daniels theme, and we've actually have someone from Jack that's going to be our first time special guest.
Yeah.
And Mr. Jed Lorette. Jed, are you there?
I am.
Good. Well, we could hear you good.
To talk to y'all.
We appreciate you dropping in with us over the phone, and we really just wanted to get some info out on the Jack Daniels contest, World Championship Barbecue Invitational contest that's coming up.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's like we call it the Jack. Yeah, everybody calls it the Jack. But what is it?
It's an opportunity to get invited to a small town, barbecue great food, compete at a professional level, and to just have the opportunity to be in such a unique place here in the U.S. I mean, small town USA.
Definitely.
And it's a beautiful setting.
Well, we love Lynchburg. We've had the pleasure or the privilege of going 3 different times over our barbecue career, and the Jack is always one that if you do get invited, you don't turn it down, and from the way we get invited is you have to win an actual grand championship, and they only let one team from every state go, kind of is the rule. I mean, there's other ways to get in.
You can win 7.
Yeah, you can win 7. You can win Memphis in May, the Royal, the Houston Rodeo. But it's more than just U.S. teams. That's what's unique to it to me, Jed, is that you've got
exactly right.
Teams coming from all over the world. Do you know how many countries and teams are representing out of the U.S.?
Right now we have 72 U.S. teams that are going to be competing with 26 international teams that are coming in.
Wow.
I've lived all over the U.S. I grew up here in Lynchburg, Tennessee, went to elementary school here in town, and I've traveled all around the world. And it's really fun because we have teams from Poland, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Australia, the UK, and it's really neat to have them a part of it as well. So you got 26 international teams, 72 U.S.-based teams. So.
And then you have a the shade lot? What's
Shade Tree Division?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, these are people who are competing. Obviously, not at the same level. They're local or more of your backyard kind of grilling situation. And they're here to compete too, though. I mean, it's for real for them too. And they get the opportunity to win, just like the rest, a lottery drawing to compete on the shade tree side of it. Yeah.
You can't count those backyard guys out. That's where we got started. So those are tomorrow's professional grand champions right there.
Absolutely, they're coming in hot, man. They're gonna come to compete.
So the barbecue kind of takes place over the Friday and Saturday. I guess it'll get started October 25th. I think that's that Friday's date. But there's more. Right. There's way more to the Jack than just the barbecue contest. Do you want to give us some details on some of the exciting things that you have going on?
Showing up and you're not cooking, like you just want to be a spectator.
Smell the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first off, coming to Lynchburg and just breathing in the air. It's first off, it's like I said before, it's a quaint little town. The distillery is only 2 blocks from the actual courthouse on the square. And so obviously that's an option. We're running tours from, I think, 9 o'clock in the morning, unless they open the doors early. We'll be running tours from 9 till whenever the last person leaves. And so we'll keep them open late.
On the Saturday of the Jack?
Well, Friday and Saturday. And we're open 7 days a week. There's only a few days out of the year that we actually shut down, and those are the major holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day. But yeah, we'll be running tours all through barbecue. There'll be arts, crafts, there'll be all kinds of stuff. But on the square itself, there's a lot of things to do. There's shops, there's our gift shop, there's food on the square. If you get your fill of barbecue, and I don't know how that's possible, but if you get your fill of barbecue, there's other things. We have sweets, but there'll be vendors, live music. We'll have some contests, like we do this country dog where you dress up your dog, and somebody is going to bring a goat that's been dressed up, I'm sure.
We entered the country dog.
Yeah, if you have a goat, bring your goat and kind of spice it up a little bit.
No, we actually had an entry in the country dog contest one year.
You got 3rd place, Mr. Buford, my brother's dog.
Is that right? That's hopefully that's right next to all your plaques and all your trophies. Is that 3rd place?
We didn't get to keep that.
Yeah, they dressed him up like, I think it was when Trump was first running for president. Yeah. They had a little costume. It was hilarious.
Awesome. That's right. It's a good time. It's definitely family oriented. So I don't want anybody to think that this is just we got whiskey in town, we got barbecue, so I don't want to bring the kids down there. No, bring your kids. It's fun. It's definitely like a festival type of feel about the town. You will have vendors with like homemade woodworking crafts, quilts, and stuff like that. Food and grills and barbecue vendors. It's just a petting zoo, just all kinds of stuff that you'll be able to do and experience while you're down here. Plus, again, the visitor center is not far away. So if you want to come and see what this whole Jack thing's about, you can definitely come and take a tour because we'll be open and ready for you.
And you can get an engraved bottle of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, absolutely.
We always get one.
The general store is worth the trip to me. I mean, there's so much neat stuff in there.
We've got a couple.
Oh man, it's posters. 2 stories of all the Jack Daniels stuff you never knew you wanted to buy.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
You get in there and start looking around.
Oh yeah.
We have complete bar setups in there. I mean, T-shirts and hats. You can buy a whole barrel empty, a half a barrel, barrel staves, you name it. I mean, we can load you up. If you're a big Jack fan, we could definitely get you out of here with a full Jack setup.
I don't know who's not a Jack fan. Hey, speaking of, man, I know you've got this new Jack Daniel's apple coming out, man. Tell us about the apple.
We got a bottle of it.
Oh my goodness. First off, it's only been out for a few weeks, and from the initial reviews from the public, it's just outstanding. I love it. Personally, my wife, just for full disclosure, she likes our liqueurs. All right. She's not a really straight whiskey drinker, but everybody has their own taste buds. And she fell in love with it the first time she tasted it. And I really, really like this apple because if you haven't had it, I'll describe it the best I can. It's a sweet apple on the nose. It's a sweet apple on the very end of your tongue, but it finishes like a whiskey on the back. It's not syrupy. It's not heavy sweet. It's a real apple. You know, it tastes like you're eating a real apple. And we had some bartenders in yesterday, and I was talking with them, and they're excited about it because now they get to try different cocktails with the apple. And got some good ideas. But it's an amazing drink. And it will be sold domestically. If it's not in your area, it will be there. But it has that sweet candy apple on the nose and almost like you bit into a real apple on the finish. It's great.
I could see that going good on a rib glaze. You get that apple going with the Jack Daniels. Man, that would make some fire ribs.
I have to take your word for it because some of the meat I pull off the grill I could kill people with. So, yeah.
we could fix that.
Yeah. I can put you on some videos that'll...
There you go. We might have to arrange something.
There you go.
Yeah.
We know a guy.
Yeah, well, it's so funny. We like to play around with cocktails at the house, and just by the way of making this apple, it just gives people more opportunities. Cocktails are definitely trending. You know, it's definitely an exciting opportunity to have friends over to your house, and if you're barbecuing or smoking something at the same time, you could be mixing something inside, and that apple just opens up a new avenue. Bringing in people who may not, appreciate yet the full flavored straight whiskeys, but this is an intro to, what Jack is and kind of opening up new avenues for us. And I think it's a wonderful, add on to what we already have. That's great. So,
well, I'm looking forward to trying that one. I know that one thing I found unique about Lynchburg is that it's actually a dry county. So
yeah.
That's what when he was saying it was a family friendly event. I was like, yeah,
it's the most.
Yeah. Look, growing up in town, we've had the same stoplight in the same area. Although it's been new. I mean, we've updated the stoplight. It still goes green, yellow, and red. But we're the second smallest county. Moore County is the second smallest county in the entire state of Tennessee. And we only have one traffic light for the entire county. Roughly population 6,000 people, and a little over 600 of them live in Lynchburg proper. So we're looking right now for the barbecue. If last year's numbers match this year's numbers, about 20 to 25,000 people will show up on those 2 days, Friday and Saturday. So you're talking about taking a population of 6,000. And it's a huge celebration is my point. A lot of people are coming in, and I just want all your listeners to know that they're welcome to come in too. We have places to park. We have shuttles that are running nonstop back and forth from where you're parking. So convenience-wise, we can get you back to your car or to the actual event with no problem. Yeah.
It'd be a great one to go and see too.
It's one of the most fun for spectators.
It's very laid back. Yeah.
Because the town is so neat. The square, I call it a square. I don't know what you really call it there, but I guess it's a town square. But
it's a square.
Yeah.
There's so many little fun shops to go into, and like you said, treats to buy. And one of our favorite, there's a little gas station that's right out there before you get in, coming in from the Alabama side, I guess. We always stop and get pimento cheese. They make homemade pimento cheese.
Woodard's pimento cheese.
Yeah.
Holy cow. You can't beat it.
It's got to be famous. If it's not, it should be.
It's a delicacy.
It should be. Yeah, we stop and always get a tub at least once a week for the house because, you need that sort of thing like eggs, milk, pimento cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
All those.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's a guy there that sets up and sells fresh fried pork rinds. And if you eat pimento cheese on the pork rind, it is just that's what we live off of while we're there.
I think that's keto, isn't it?
It's gotta be. There's there's no carbs in that, and then you can have the cheese. I guess I don't know about the mayonnaise factor. Can you have mayonnaise on keto?
Sure.
I don't know.
We'll say it is for that weekend, right?
Yeah, if you looked at me, you would say that boy's not on a keto diet. Yeah.
But hey, for the fitness people, I think y'all are having a big race too, right? I saw that on the itinerary.
Yeah, is the 5K new?
It's coming up. We normally have either a walk or race. We just finished. Just to let you know, we do have some stuff that either just finished or coming up. Like we did the Alzheimer's walk. It was a fundraiser. We did a Jack and Back, which is a bike ride, and for muscular sclerosis. We also have coming up, the barbecue, not this weekend, but next weekend. And then we have the Christmas tree lighting, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day festival up in Nashville, which is the big note drop. And so, Jack is, we're sponsoring a lot, raising a lot of money for really good causes. And, just want to celebrate,
Well, we're all for it because we're big fans of the Jack Daniel's brand and the Invitational Barbecue Contest. We appreciate you guys putting that on for us barbecue folks. And it's been something that's been special to us.
Yeah, it's very special in the barbecue community. It's a really big deal to get to go. We kept all our bungs. So what's a bung?
A bung is a plug that goes into a bung hole, which is the hole where we fill the barrels full of whiskey. So we have a bung toss along with cornhole tossing on the square. So, a bung. Yeah, we get a lot of jokes about that.
So can you actually taste Jack Daniel's if you take the distillery tour? Is that the only place you can get a little sample, or do they do that?
Well, we'll have right now we have three options. If you were to come in today, we have a sit-down tasting where you don't actually walk through the tour, but you get an opportunity to get an education and then a brief history and then a walkthrough on how to sip the whiskey. So you are going to get some education along with the whiskey. But if you want to take a distillery tour, we have two options for tasting, which is the Flight of Jack, where you're going to be tasting our family of brands. It tends to be our most popular whiskeys out there in the market, which today will be Gentleman Jack, Old No. 7, Tennessee Straight Rye, the Tennessee Apple, and the Tennessee Fire. If you're tasting our Angel Share tour, it's the same distillery tour, but you'll be tasting our more premium whiskeys. Things like Gold 27, Sinatra, Single Barrel Select, Single Barrel Barrel Proof, and Single Barrel Rye.
Wow. I can go for both of those.
Yeah. Can you sign up for both?
Sign me up.
That's right. Yeah. It's, we're running whiskey today. It's a really nice it's a leisurely walk. We're doing about a third of a mile, but it's a leisurely walk through the distillery. And yes, you do have the opportunity. If you want to sip whiskey with us, we'll definitely sit you down and walk you through the process of sipping that whiskey.
Well, that sounds fantastic. And Jed, we really appreciate you, man, stopping in with us and talking, taking some time out of your day to tell us about the Jack Daniel's. And I tell you, if you've never been to Lynchburg and you get the smell of all that good corn being turned into the delicious whiskey mixed with the barbecue smoke, man, it's something special.
It is outstanding. It is outstanding.
One more quick question. What's your favorite drink?
Single Barrel Select, hands down.
Just straight?
You can eat it with a real, well, I use ice. Ice is going to open up your whiskey, but you can enjoy that Single Barrel Select pretty much any way you like it as far as like what you're going to pair it with. And so you can't go wrong. It's got sweet smells on the nose. The rye comes through and it kind of lingers in the back of your throat. It's a wonderful whiskey. I love it.
We got to get out and get some, Shell.
We got some.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, Jed, thank you for your time, man. And I hope the Jack goes off with perfect weather. I know it's going to be a fantastic time. And
it has cooled off. Yeah.
Thankfully.
So we're happy about that. We are happy that cool weather came in.
And anytime you want to come back and talk whiskey, man, we'd love to have you.
I would love to come back. Maybe you can educate me on some barbecue.
Hey, there you go. We can make
do a
that
little
happen.
trade-off. Yeah, barbecue for whiskey.
Do you have anything? Do you have anything you'd like to tell us exciting besides the Jack coming up that's on your list, or anything going on?
We are pumped about this Christmas. So if y'all are invited, everybody who is listening is invited to our Christmas tree lighting. And if y'all want to meet up in Nashville, we will be doing a big thing for the New Year's Eve party up in Nashville. So it's not too far for y'all to drive.
No, it's just right up the road. It's not far for us at all.
That's a weekend trip for us. Yeah.
That's right. Well, just always check on the website. We have new things happening all the time. And we're looking forward to having all these people come down and visit our house.
And that's jackdaniels.com. You can find it on the website.
jackdaniels.com.
All right, man. Well, have a great day, and we'll talk again.
Thank you.
Thank you. So are you serious about that Jack Daniels apple rib?
Yeah, man. Don't that sound good?
That does sound good.
I never even thought about it. I've had apple whiskey before. I think it's maybe Crown came out with the first ones, and that used to be you get a chilled shot of Crown apple, or now they've got the Crown peach. But I'm excited for the Jack Daniels because they come out with that Tennessee Fire, and it was like a less syrupy version of Fireball, and so I really like it. That's what, in fact, I got a fifth of it. I keep in the freezer, and you get a little cough or something. Yeah, you go get you a little nip of Tennessee Fire. I like it better. So the apple, I'm thinking it's probably gonna be better than the Crown version. So I got to go get it. I want it cold.
Yeah.
Or either on the rocks, definitely, I guess, because it doesn't need it. It's probably not something I'll just go get it straight out of the bottle unless it's ice cold.
Yeah, I was going to ask him, is it a good sipping whiskey?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's
because I like a good.
I got to look and see if it's 80 proof. I mean, most of them. Sometimes those liqueurs they're a little bit less, but I'm gonna look at it and see.
Yeah, we got a bottle. It's actually.
Did you bring it in here? Did you bring it to the office?
Yeah.
Okay. We should have set it out on the table for them. I could have seen it. There was 3. They sent us 3 bottles. One was a single barrel. One was what was the other one? Oh, it was the new smoked. I hadn't seen that before. Should have asked him about that. We'll have to get Jed back on there and tell us about that smoked whiskey. Yeah. Well, I hadn't opened any of them. They just came yesterday. Like we'll just got them in the mail.
In here and do a flight.
Do a Tennessee flight, man. That'd be a podcast right there. So,
you'll meet the real shell.
It's just shell if you're nasty. So what else are we going to talk about today, Shell?
Well, I thought we'd talk about using Jack Daniels to cook because you did your Jack sirloin.
Yeah, that was, hey, it's fantastic. I like to incorporate different things like that. A lot of people get turned off and they say, what can you substitute besides whiskey? I guess you got some teetotalers out there. Yeah. But I understand, you may not, maybe you don't do whiskey, but it really makes a nice cooking element. You cook out all the alcohol.
Yeah.
It's not like you're getting drunk eating, but there's so many, and that's what's unique about Jack Daniels or other whiskeys is they pick up so many different notes from the ingredients they use in them. I mean, of course, you get the corn from the mash, but then you also get these caramelly notes. Mm-hmm. And you get, some of the spices from what's in, the ingredients they use. And then you get the flavors from the barrel where they age it. And they're all unique. They all have these unique tastes. And they really go well when you make sauces or glazes with them, I think. I mean,
because they have a very complex, a flavor that's.
And I'm by no means a professional when it comes to tasting those, whiskeys, and I don't know a whole lot about them other than I like them.
Yeah, I know what I like.
But I like using them when I cook, and so I've used Jack Daniels in a lot of stuff. Yeah. I know I did a pork chop I did like Tennessee. I think it was called Tennessee Mojo chops. I used Jay's seasoning and did some thick pork chops, and then I made a sweet. It's always usually pairs well with sweet to me, so I usually turn it into a glaze. That's something that's going to go on the back end. And
because you don't really want to add it why wouldn't you add it at the front?
Well, because I don't want to, first it'll burn.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get the flavors from it to go with the meat. So it kind of, of course, you're usually smoking or grilling something. So you have that aspect going. But then when you top it at the end, it brings in a whole nother ball game. And that's what, makes them taste really good. So it does well with chicken. It does well with pork. It does good on beef. I mean, normally I'm not a sweet guy when it comes to beef. Mm-hmm. I mean, I said that before, but the Jack Daniels really works. And I think it was at TGI Fridays probably does it best. They have the Jack Sesame Chicken. I think they have a Jack Sirloin or something like that too. Yeah. It's kind of where I got the idea to do sirloin just because it's a different cut, but it works. And, it kind of, I wouldn't say it's an Asian-y flair, but since you use soy sauce and you have some of those other elements in it, it almost has like an Asian take on it. Yeah. But then you add the whiskey and it's a whole nother note. So it tastes really, really good. So what did I do on the Mojo chops?
You took some thick cut
pork chops,
bone-in ribeye pork chops. You seasoned them with the regular Mojo.
Yeah.
And then you just smoked them.
On a drum, wasn't it? Seems like
drum smoker with cherry wood until they hit 135-ish.
Started glazing.
And then you started glazing them. And for your glaze, you used butter.
And I was going to say, it's real buttery. And that's what I liked about it.
You had
I didn't use a fruit.
Tablespoon of butter. You sauteed some onions, some garlic, added brown sugar, pineapple juice, and then added
Jack Daniels and cooked it off.
Yep.
And it made that caramelly flavor.
And a little bit of your vinegar sauce.
To give it to balance it out. Man, that was a good sauce.
It was a very good pork chop. I've seen a lot of people say that they've used that recipe. And
the one I used for the sirloin is similar to that. It's got some of the same elements.
Yeah.
I didn't put butter in it, which wouldn't have been a bad call. I mean, and then I've done one with chicken. What was the Jack and Coke chicken thighs, I think? Those were really good. That sauce was a little different, though. I mean, it had some of the same elements, but it's still different. You could go. That's the thing about you could take these recipes and make them your own. Take in and out, substitute any other fruit, and that's what I was thinking with the apple. You could take that and use apple juice, or either cook apples down, and that's probably what I'm gonna do. I've got this recipe I've been playing with where I was wanting to do not an apple sauce, but you had apple butter.
Yeah,
it's kind of like spicy applesauce. I was going to use that in a rib wrap, and then. Now I incorporate this Jack Daniels apple for a glaze. And man, that'd be a fire rib.
People love adding booze to food.
I do. Hey,
those recipes
that'd be good.
A lot of play.
I'm ready to do that.
So when you did your chicken thighs, you did Jack Daniels, or you did.
I made a Jack and Coke and marinated them. I remember that.
Jack and Coke chicken thighs.
It was just standard thighs that I marinated in Jack and Coke.
You put a little AP rub on it, added it to Coke, some soy sauce.
There you go. I like playing with those elements together.
Yeah.
The soy and the whiskey.
And then you put them in a pan, a little more AP, cooked them with some butter on a drum till they got, good, pulled them out, and then glazed them with a Jack Daniels glaze. And it had pineapple juice, regular barbecue sauce, soy sauce, teriyaki, whiskey, some pineapple preserves.
I got that from making because when we do the Jack Daniels sauce, you have to use Jack Daniels in the sauce.
Yeah.
And so that variation of that glaze started with me making a sauce up for the Jack Daniels, and it started out as a barbecue sauce, and that's how those had the barbecue elements, and then we added the other stuff to it. You always have something fruity to go with it to kind of give the sauce, like sweeten it up a little bit, take off some of the heat and some of the vinegar edge, but then you put the Jack Daniels in there and cook the liquor off of it, and you get all that flavor from the elements of the whiskey in it, and that's what made it a really good Jack Daniels sauce. And so it works great on chicken. It'd be good on wings.
One year we went to the Jack, and we got our barbecue sauce entry ready to go, and they do a separate contest. It's a sauce contest.
Yeah.
And it has to incorporate Jack Daniels, and we had it all ready to go, and we sent Mark Lambert up to the front.
With this, he was going to turn. We were off on our times. I don't know how we got off. Well, I probably know how we got off on our times. We was well into the Gentleman Jack that year.
I think that was our first.
No, it wasn't our first year.
It was our second year to go.
Second year at the Jack. And Mark takes the cup up there, and he notices everybody's turning in this dish from the homeland or whatever, and he says it's not sauce. So he eases up there, puts the sauce cup behind his back. It's going, what's turning in now? And it was like, I'm glad. He said, okay, thank you. No. He just gradually turned around and walked back. We knew we finished last in sauce. I think that's the first time I've ever finished last at anything. It was at the Jack Daniels. Like, well, we missed that one. At least we didn't miss chicken or, we had our barbecue times down.
Yeah.
I think sauce went before dish from the homeland, and we've never done that. Or, it's like.
Well, our idea was that we were going to concentrate on the main four.
On the barbecue, yeah.
But I've always entered dessert.
You got a 180 in Jack. You got a pin, a ribbon.
I got the bottle of Jack still in
my office. Is it on your desk?
On my desk.
That's that one. Are you ever going to open that one?
No. I hope not.
It's going to be a good aged bottle. Yeah. Times get rough. You get anxiety gets built up.
I can't make any promises.
Yeah, I know what that's like. Get a few of these.
But I don't plan. I haven't opened it in the past 3-4 years.
I've never opened any of the bottles. We talked about it with Jed that you can actually go to the Jack Daniel's gift shop up there, buy a bottle, and they will engrave your name and the year or whatever on it.
Yeah.
And so we've
great
got them.
Christmas gifts.
It really is. Yeah. Like if you're giving gifts to somebody, get them a Jack Daniel's with the year and their barbecue team name or something like that on it. And I've never opened them. I've got them in my liquor cabinet at home. It's something I just not interested in opening.
Well, you can buy
keepsake.
Yeah.
And I could drink it and keep the bottle and put something else in it, put cheap whiskey in it.
That'd be crappy.
But it's never open. Yeah. I mean, that's something we always get that. Man, we've got a lot of stuff from there though. I've got one of their big barrels. Wayland bought one year and we toted it back. Yeah. It's here in the office. So we used to haul it out to Memphis MA every year and use it for decorations at Memphis MA, but it started getting too wobbly.
Yeah. It started.
Well, you're supposed to every year with those to preserve them. Fill them up with water, let them get saturated again so they swell up, and then let them dry. And, you keep, because it's eventually going to dry out. As that wood seasoned, it gets loose in those bands. They put those bands on it when it's still, it's got to be swole up because it holds that whiskey. But then over time, moving it shakes it apart. We didn't talk about the posters. That was something that's unique every year. And we collect those. Every time we win, we've gotten a poster. And even you bought some of the ones you liked that were from years that we didn't even get to go. You just thought they were cool posters. Yeah,
they had them on like clearance. Yeah. They were from the year before.
But if you get a chance to go to Lynchburg and check that contest out, man, do it.
I would say it's a better spectator contest than the Royal or
because it's smaller scale. It's more, it's more, what do you say, intimate? I don't know if it's intimate's the right word, but it's just to be a world championship and only to be like, I guess it's a little over 100 teams, but international and
US.
It
has more of a small town.
Yeah. And you get the square and you get all the vendors and there's so much going on. There's just a lot to do. The only thing bad about it, if it turns cold, and there's been years where it's, snowed and ice, and those are terrible turnout years, but you get a Jack. We've been lucky enough to where it hasn't been bad every year we've went.
One year it rained, but it wasn't bad.
But the crowd still came. Yeah. And you go there Friday night for the parade. We forgot to talk about the parade.
Yeah. Man.
There's so much you can talk about that contest.
Next time we go. So you said you're fixing to kick back up KCBS. You're going to focus on it. You're going to start cooking. You don't know.
But I'm not. I mean, I want to try to get back in the Jack.
That's
for
what
sure.
I'm saying.
I want to do number 4.
Are you going to bust out the white suit? The first year we went to the Jack Daniels.
I still got the white suit in the closet.
Malcolm was like,
I should have wore the hat or something for this podcast. That'd have been great. The Jack Daniels. I may bring it next week and put it on.
Malcolm bought an all white suit, white shirt, white suit, white shoes. I was
decked out. I walked in the parade, whited out. I had to do a white out at the Jack. It was my JD Hogg outfit. I was supposed to be Boss Hogg. You remember Boss Hogg, Dukes of Hazzard, right? Yeah, that was it. I just needed the white Cadillac with the big horns on the front of it too.
I
still want one of those. That's my dream car.
So you wear that suit
and drive my Cadillac around town
in the parade.
Yeah, but convertible Cadillac. I think it had red interior.
Yes.
It would roll though. He'd be running from them Duke boys.
Another recipe, we used Fireball for it, but like you said,
the Tennessee Fire would work excellent for that pineapple. I know you're going with that.
You already know.
Something about the whiskey and pineapple goes. That's why I use it in the glaze a lot.
Yeah. But so you took a whole pineapple, soaked it in whiskey and cinnamon whiskey.
And I put it on the rotisserie rod and spun it until it kind of caramelized on the outside. Added sugar,
brown sugar, and
you could do that. I've done it before. You cut them in slices,
cook them like a burger.
Yeah, cut them in slices, soak them in the Fireball or Tennessee Fire. Throw them on the grill with the brown sugar. That on top of a chop makes a really good presentation and meal because the chop kind of goes with the pineapple too.
That's a good idea.
It really is. I've done it. I mean, it's good. I never done a video on it.
But you didn't use whiskey. The time that you did do it and did a video on it, you did
just
a
never.
chop with,
With a pineapple?
Yeah.
I didn't do whiskey, but whiskey soak goes with it.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't glaze the chop because it would be a little much. You know, you kind of got the sweet element going with the pineapple. And you just do a regular, good, heavy dry rub chop that you grill or either smoke.
And your Labor Day recipe this past Labor Day was the Jack Daniel's ribs.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with those.
Yeah. And you spritzed them with the Jack and Coke. You mixed up a Jack and Coke and spritzed them.
That was the based.
Mm-hmm. Your base.
I do remember those. Those were good.
They were good. You used a little Captain Rodney's, a little brown sugar in the wrap, and then glazed them with Jack Daniel's barbecue glaze. And all it was brown sugar, vinegar sauce, whiskey, and pineapple juice. Simple.
It's a simple glaze. You just cook it down to you reduce it to where it turns into a syrup almost.
Yeah.
Then it's ready to roll. Put it in a jar. As it cools a little bit, it'll thicken up some too. Then you brush it on and just let it melt down. And it's got all those good elements to it.
Yes. Pork
goes with it.
Pork, the sweet, the whiskey is really good.
Great combo.
And I use the whiskey.
Have I not done whiskey wings or anything? I can't believe I ain't done that.
Only you got that one chicken.
That.
Jack and Coke
candy whiskey apple wings would be pretty good. I'm gonna find a way to use that apple whiskey. Watch, I promise you.
So this week we are actually headed out of town tomorrow.
Yep.
Where are we going, Mal?
We're going to Dallas, Texas, to the World Food Championship, and it's going to be chefs from all over. Do they have? Is it international? I guess it's international. There's teams from all over come to it too, right?
I guess
they compete in. I can't list every category.
Yeah.
I'm in seafood, but there's steak, there's barbecue, there's burger, there's chili, there's chicken,
desserts,
chef category. I mean, there's
steak. Did you say?
Yeah,
steak?
I said steak. There's a ton of categories. This is a big deal.
Yeah,
and this is our second time cooking in the World Food Championships, and we practiced all weekend. We did. I have to do. So the deal is in seafood, you have a structured build and you have kind of a chef's choice. That's the first round. And then if you make top 10 of that, you go on and cook the Saturday, which I cook on a Thursday, and then
the semifinal.
Yeah, that'd be the semifinals
to find out who's going to represent you from your division in the final.
And then you cook your own dish there, but you have to incorporate a signature ingredient. And so that's caviar, I think.
Yeah, but we're not even worried about that right now. I ain't worried about that.
I've got a recipe on deck. I'm going to add caviar to it. But for our char-grilled oysters, that's the structured build in the preliminary round.
And we're cooking this on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So Thursday we're cooking two dishes.
I'll go ahead and release it because I'll be done it by the time this podcast airs. I'm doing a Southwestern char-grilled oyster for the structured build. And can you look up and see what I named that recipe? It was
Grande Gringo.
Char-grilled oysters. Yeah. I went way out of the box on that one. But so I'm taking some oysters on the half shell, topping them with a gringo butter that we're going to mix up. It's kind of like a Southwestern style butter. That's going to give us some flavor. And then I'm going to top that with some shrimp that we've tossed in some Grande Gringo, and then we've cooked it, grilled it on both sides real fast to get it done, and then tossed it over in a champagne minuet sauce. And then I'm going to serve that with a spicy pico that we're going to make up. It's going to have a little bit of gringo in it just to give it a punch, but it's mainly going to be tomatoes, onions, cilantro, jalapeno.
Gringo grilled oysters with shrimp and spicy pico.
Ooh. And then to serve it all, for presentation, we've got the oyster on the half shell. It's got the shrimp. It's got the pico, but you need a cracker to go with it. So I'm taking tortilla shells and frying them in a little bit of peanut oil to where they get golden brown and real crispy. And then
we're using flour tortilla.
Then seasoning that with a little bit of flake sea salt to where it gives it a little bit of savoriness. And that's what's going to be my cracker. So you'll get the oyster, dig it out of the shell with the shrimp and the pico on it, put it on the little tortilla, and it's a one bite kind of. If I'm eating, it's really good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
So we had oysters shipped to us, and they hit Friday,
right?
And I was a little disappointed in the quality of those oysters.
Well,
I'm not
I
going to
guess
say what company it was.
Shipping oysters is iffy at best. I mean,
You're
I didn't get sick. Nobody got sick.
Nobody got sick. They just didn't taste like fresh. We've had oysters shipped to us before.
Yeah, those were Chesapeake, so those were awesome.
They were.
Boilerplate. That was a totally different game-changing oyster.
It was.
But these were okay. I mean, they worked. They got our practice in. I'm hoping that they're giving us some Texas oysters. I should have looked the company up. I don't have it in front of me. But
and then for your other dish, we're doing a Cajun barbecue shrimp over smoked bacon and cheese grit.
That's right. And that's going to be my chef's selection or whatever you call it. And that one.
You were using the exact same recipe that's on the website too.
No, it's not. No, it's tweaked. That one's more grill centric. I mean, this one I'm going to grill the shrimp and everything too. But
it's similar.
It's similar. It's really, really, really good stone ground grits. Yellow corn stone ground grits with cream cheese and Parmesan cheese and bacon in them. Of course, some butter. And then they're topped with the barbecue shrimp. This kind of New Orleans style barbecue shrimp. You season the shrimp with the Cajun seasoning, cook it just a little bit, but it's all about this sauce that we're putting it in. So I make this sauce with shallot or green onions and what else? Garlic, andouille sausage, bacon drippings, Worcestershire sauce, and lemon juice. And then you slowly start melting in this butter, like 2 sticks of butter to make this sauce. And it incorporates it, and it's all rich and flavorful. And they call it barbecue. It's really not having barbecue sauce in it, but it takes on those elements, I guess, from the Worcestershire and the lemon juice and the butter and the andouille sauce. It's so good. And you put the shrimps back in it at the end, the shrimps. You put all them shrimps back in it at the end, and then you top those grits with it and garnish it with a little flat leaf parsley and green onion. And man, it's
you.
It may not win. I ain't saying it's going to win.
No.
But I'll be damned if it don't eat good. I promise you it's going to eat good. Because we ate it all weekend. I don't know. We make it 3 times, I guess.
Yeah. When we went to
it's good.
When we went to Texas over the summer to Matt Pittman's house and did the meat church class, we met Chef Jason Jones, and he has
volunteered.
I'm so grateful.
Yeah, it was just me and you.
Yeah.
We were going to take on the world foods, and he volunteered. He's like, "Hey man, y'all going to be over here? If y'all need an extra set of knives and hands, I'm your man." I said, "Heck yeah!" So he's been working on the recipes too. Yeah, he's been texting me all weekend. Stuff he's been working on and tweaking it, and he's got it down. This is his own. We're going into world foods. We're going to have fun, and we're going to knock out these 2 dishes, and then work on the Saturday dish. Hopefully, get our recipe in, and it's going to be some variation of some delicious kind of fish topped with caviar. Not giving out all the secrets.
Yeah, that's true. We can't get about all the secrets,
but it'll be good. Hopefully, we can talk about that next week. How we won the World Food Seafood
last year at the World Foods. Malcolm moved on from the first round.
I cooked steak.
Yeah, and then we cooked in the kitchen the second round, and it came in second.
And you had
0.01%.
It was close. It was real close. Yeah. But the thing is, we wanted to cook in the kitchen again. That's the only reason why I switched to categories. And I switched seafood just because I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah. If you make the top 10 in any of your category, you're automatically re-entered.
Yeah. So you get back in. You don't have to qualify to get in. You can sign up for any category you want. And it's fun cooking steak. Don't get me wrong. But steak is just a one man's game until you get to the next round.
Yeah.
So I said, well, we know if we sign up for another category, at least we'll get to cook in that kitchen environment one time. Yeah. And that's something that was new to us. I've never done that, and you've never done it. And so you get 2 hours, but it goes by so fast, and it's like, man, it's like something you see on TV. It's like
Chop. Yeah. One of those.
You're just at it,
Iron Chef.
Everybody, it's electric in there. You've got these chefferees going around, blowing their whistles and telling you the times and making sure you don't get any penalties, and they're throwing flags, I guess. And then you got everybody standing around spectating, hollering, and it's almost like there's some chaos going on, but then you got these people cooking.
Yeah.
And then you got to get the dishes turned in and set on the table before the clock goes out with your hands off of them. And that's exciting.
Yeah. I remember as soon as we were done the last
time, it
was like That was so much fun.
Yeah, it was. It was a rush.
It was.
It was a rush to get through that. So hopefully we'll get to do it twice.
Yeah,
this
that'd be
week.
cool. Yeah. So
we'll give you a full report on what happened at World Foods and what all they have going on. I hadn't really had time to.
How we turned out. We'll be making posts.
I mean, do I expect to win? No, I'm not a seafood cook. I just cook barbecue. But, and there's chefs doing this, but it's going to be so much fun. And we got us a chef going with us too.
And that's another thing when we were practicing.
Got a ringer. You got your ringer, chef.
When we were practicing this weekend, I was like, there's people that we're competing again that's probably been practicing.
I got seafood restaurants. Yeah. I only do this for a living, you know.
And here we are.
Just ordered us some oysters by mail and bought shrimp at Kroger.
They've been practicing one weekend. Yeah. But hey, we're going to give it our all.
Give it our all. That's it.
But we'll be posting about that this weekend on the stories, and
you'll probably see some. You'll see that before you hear this podcast.
Yeah, we're leaving out tomorrow morning. Mark and Emily from Swine Life Barbecue.
And Waylon, his wife's coming, and that's our crew.
Yeah,
but there'll be a lot of people there that we know and everybody else knows. So.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. I'm interested to see. We went to the one in Orange Beach last year. This is in Dallas.
I think the public part of this one's even bigger.
Really?
There's so much more going on. I mean, they've got all kinds of stuff.
Michael said, "Can you bring me back a bag full of free stuff?" Because you walk around and they give out coupons and swag. Yeah. And he said, "Can you bring me back a bag full of free stuff?" I said, "I can do it."
I asked him when the Cowboys had her jersey. He said no. He was not interested in that.
My Cowboys. I got one bet from the other weekend for the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl, and after this weekend, I don't think it's going to happen.
No, you should go back and rebet that one. See if they give you your money back or something. Or at least give you some better odds. Can I get the new odds on that? Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I bet the odds are really high now.
Yeah. Oh, well, good times. I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to get on the road. Are you?
No.
We got to finish packing.
Yeah. All right.
Well, that's about it for today's episode. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Chill.
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's at HowToBBQRight on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course YouTube. If you'd like to connect with me, it's at Miss Southern Shell on Instagram and Twitter.
Hey, we'll be here next week. We'll see y'all then.